The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council fell silent as Zixtoral approached the speaking platform. The blue-skinned alien moved with dignity, his 4 arms carrying various data tablets. Representatives from over 200 alien species watched from their designated areas. Today marked an important moment in galactic history. Esteemed members of the Council, Zixtoral began, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into the standard galactic language. After 3 centuries of research, I present our final report on the species known as humans. Holographic images appeared above the platform. They showed cities, oceans, and mountains from a blue-green planet called Earth. The species originated from the 3rd planet of the Sol system. They achieved spacefaring status briefly before their extinction. Today, we officially declare humans extinct and close their file in our records. In the audience, a furry Mordican representative raised a tentacle. What caused their end? War? Climate collapse? A plague? Zixtoral answered. A fast-spreading disease their medicine could not fight. Their final transmissions indicated mass evacuations, but no human colonies were ever found. The plague appears to have claimed them all. The council members made various sounds of acknowledgement or sadness, depending on their species. The humans had been known to only a few races before their disappearance. Most council members knew them only from records. We will preserve their cultural artifacts in the Museum of Lost Civilizations, Zixtoral concluded. May their memory join the other fallen species in our archives. The council leader, a tall insectoid being, clicked her mandibles. The declaration is entered into record. Humanity is officially classified as extinct. Far away from the council's grand hall, in the dark space between galaxies, a different scene unfolded. The sleep pod hissed as it opened. Inside, Frank Miller blinked slowly as his body awoke from cryosleep. His mouth felt dry, and his muscles ached. The pod's screen displayed vital signs as Frank tried to remember where he was. Captain Miller, a voice called. The computer says you're awake. Can you hear me? Frank turned his head to see Diane Powell, the ship's chief science officer, already dressed in her uniform. Her dark hair was tied back, and she looked concerned. I hear you, Frank said, his voice rough from disuse. How long were we asleep? Diane hesitated. That's why I woke you first. According to the ship's computer, we've been in cryosleep for just over 300 years. Frank tried to sit up too quickly and felt dizzy. 300? That's impossible. The journey was programmed for 50 years. Something went wrong with the navigation system, Diane explained. We went off course. The computer kept us asleep while it searched for a suitable system to colonize. Frank finally managed to stand. He looked through the viewport at the stars outside. They formed unfamiliar patterns. The rest of the fleet. All 5 colony ships are here, Diane said. The computer woke the essential crew on each ship first. We're the only ones awake on the horizon so far. Frank walked to the main control room. Screens showed the status of 5,000 sleeping colonists aboard their ship. Similar numbers slept on each of the other 4 ships. 25,000 humans, the last survivors of Earth. Where are we? Frank asked. The Andromeda Arm, far from any charted territories, Diane replied. She pointed to a star on the main screen. But there's good news. The computer found a suitable planet. Perfect conditions for human life. It's just waiting for your command to set course. Frank stared at the image of the blue-green world. It looked so much like the Earth they had left behind. What about Earth? The plague? Any news? Diane's face grew sad. No signals from Earth or any human colonies for nearly 300 years. According to the long-range scans, Earth's population appears to be gone. Frank placed his hand on the cold glass of the viewport. Everyone they had left behind was long dead. As far as they knew, the humans on these 5 ships were all that remained of their species. Wake the rest of the command crew, Frank ordered. We need to prepare for landing. Neither Frank nor Diane knew that in a grand hall many light years away, their entire species had just been declared extinct. 20 years passed since the human colony ships landed on the planet they named New Dawn. What began as a cluster of prefabricated shelters had grown into a thriving settlement of nearly 30,000 people. The colony spread across a wide valley, with buildings made from local stone and metals mined from nearby hills. Lisa Gardner checked the controls of her mining shuttle one last time before launch. At 32, she was one of the best pilots in the colony, known for her skill in navigating the asteroid belt that orbited their new sun. "All systems ready?" Steve Bennett asked from the co-pilot seat. The engineer was responsible for the mining equipment they would use to extract valuable minerals from the asteroids. "Ready to go," Lisa confirmed. "Colony control, this cleared us for launch." Their small ship lifted off from the landing pad and rose through the atmosphere. Lisa enjoyed these moments, watching New Dawn grow smaller below them. The blue-green planet looked beautiful from space, with white clouds swirling above oceans and the growing human settlement visible as a small patch on the largest continent. "I never get tired of that view," Steve said, voicing her thoughts. Once clear of the planet's gravity, Lisa set course for the asteroid belt. The journey would take 6 hours. They settled in for the trip, discussing the mining targets they had selected. "The colony needs more copper and rare earth elements," Steve explained, reviewing their mission objectives. "The new communications array can't be finished without them." Halfway to the asteroid belt, an alert sounded from their sensors. "That's strange," Lisa said, studying the screen. "I'm picking up an unknown vessel near our targeted asteroid." "Another mining ship?" Steve asked, leaning forward to look. Lisa shook her head. "No, the design is all wrong. It's not one of ours." They stared at each other as the meaning sank in. In 20 years of settlement, the humans of New Dawn had never encountered another spacefaring species. They had assumed they were alone in this part of space. "Should we turn back?" Steve asked, his voice uncertain. Lisa thought for a moment. "No, we should investigate. This could be important for the colony to know about." She adjusted their course, approaching the unknown ship cautiously. As they got closer, they could see it was unlike anything humans had ever built. The vessel had a smooth oval shape with no visible engines or windows. It glowed with a faint purple light and appeared to be scanning the asteroid. "Can we communicate with them?" Steve asked. "I can try broadcasting on standard frequencies," Lisa said. She activated the communication system. "Unknown vessel, this is Mining Shuttle Delta from the human colony of New Dawn. We come in peace and wish to establish contact." For several minutes, there was no response. Then suddenly, their communication screen lit up. The face that appeared wasn't human. The being had smooth, silvery skin with large, almond-shaped eyes that blinked vertically instead of horizontally. 3 small breathing holes replaced what would be a nose on a human face. "Human," the alien said, the word clearly difficult for it to pronounce. "Impossible. Humans extinct. 300 cycles." Lisa and Steve exchanged shocked glances. "We're very much alive," Lisa replied. "Our colony ships arrived here 20 years ago." The alien's eyes widened. It spoke rapidly in its own language to someone off-screen before turning back to them. "I am Vex Lore of the Vorlani research vessel. We study dead civilizations, human artifacts valuable for study." "We're not dead," Steve said firmly. "There are almost 30,000 humans living on New Dawn." The alien seemed to struggle with this information. "Official Galactic Council records. Humans extinct. Plague and all human life 300 cycles past." Lisa leaned forward. "The rest of the galaxy thinks we're extinct. All of humanity." "Yes," Vexlor confirmed. "Big ceremony. 20 rotations ago. Final extinction declaration." Lisa felt a chill run through her body. The colony ships had escaped Earth to survive the plague, but they had no idea they were now considered extinct by the rest of the galaxy. "We should take this information back to the colony leaders," Steve whispered. "Vex Lore," Lisa said carefully, "would you be willing to come to our colony? Meet with our leaders. This is very important information for us. The alien conferred with others off-screen before responding. Yes, we'll follow your vessel. First contact protocol activated. As they turned their shuttle back toward New Dawn, Lisa and Steve realized that everything was about to change for their isolated human colony. They weren't alone in the galaxy after all. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with representatives from hundreds of different species. The massive room buzzed with excited whispers and nervous movements. Today was not a normal meeting day. Today was special. Governor Alan Hughes adjusted his formal uniform as he stood in the waiting area. Next to him, Natalie Rodriguez reviewed their prepared speech on a small tablet. Both humans had been chosen to represent New Dawn at this historic event. "Are you nervous?" Natalie asked, looking up from her notes. Terrified, Alan admitted with a small smile. "I'm a colony governor, not a diplomat. I never expected to announce humanity's survival to an entire galaxy." Vexilor, their Vorlani ally, approached them. In the 6 months since first contact, the silver-skinned alien had become a trusted friend to the human colony. "The council is ready," Vexilor said. Many species very excited, some worried. News of humans living is spread through private channels. "Do they believe it?" Natalie asked. "Some yes, some no," Vexilor replied. All curious. Big moment for galactic history. A chime sounded, signaling it was time. Alan took a deep breath as the large doors slid open. Together, the two humans and their Vorlani escort walked into the council chamber. The room fell silent. Hundreds of alien eyes, some with multiple pairs, focused on the humans. Alan looked around at the various species. Some looked almost human-like, while others were completely different. Floating gas creatures, insect-like beings, and things he couldn't even describe. The council leader, a tall being with iridescent scales, spoke first. "We have called this special session to address an extraordinary claim. 6 months ago, the Vorlani research vessel Starlight reported finding living humans in the Andromeda Arm. Today, we will hear from these supposed humans directly." Alan stepped forward to the speaking platform. His voice was steady as he began. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council, my name is Alan Hughes, elected governor of the human colony New Dawn. This is Natalie Rodriguez, our chief diplomat. We stand before you as representatives of nearly 30,000 humans who live, work, and dream among the stars." Murmurs rippled through the audience. Alan continued. 300 years ago, our ancestors fled Earth on 5 colony ships to escape a deadly plague. A navigation error sent our ships far off course. We spent centuries in cryosleep before finding our new home. Until 6 months ago, we believed we might be the last humans alive. We had no idea the galaxy had declared our entire species extinct. The council leader raised a hand. "We have verified their genetic profiles. They are indeed human, matching all records in our archives." From the audience, a bulky creature with thick gray skin stood. "How do we know they aren't clones or copies? The humans died out centuries ago." "We are not copies," Natalie responded firmly. "We are the descendants of Earth. Our colony includes people who were born on Earth, as well as new generations born on New Dawn." Another alien, this one resembling a giant praying mantis, spoke up. "The return of humans is concerning. Historical records show they were unpredictable and potentially dangerous. We come in peace," Alan insisted. "We seek only to reconnect with the galactic community." The chamber erupted in voices, some supportive, others suspicious. Alan noticed a group of beetle-like aliens huddled together, clicking their mandibles angrily. "The Hive Collective does not welcome this development," their representative announced. "Humans were expanding rapidly before the plague. Their return threatens the balance of power we have established." Other species voiced their support for humanity. A tall, elegant being with feathered arms approached the platform. "The Ilari welcome the return of humans," they said. "Your species created beautiful art and music. The galaxy has been poorer without your kind. The debate continued for hours. Some species welcomed humans back, while others remained suspicious or hostile. Alan and Natalie answered countless questions about their colony, their intentions, and their history. By the end of the day, the Council voted to officially recognize the existence of living humans and grant New Dawn provisional status in galactic affairs. As they left the chamber, Natalie whispered to Alan, "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" Alan nodded. For better or worse, humanity has returned to the galactic stage. Back on New Dawn, the human colony was buzzing with activity. News of their official recognition by the Galactic Council had sparked excitement and worry in equal measure. Most colonists had grown up believing they were alone in the universe. Now they had to adjust to being part of a vast galactic community. Jack Wilson stood in his workshop, surrounded by strange alien devices. As the colony's lead engineer, he had been given access to technology shared by friendly alien species. The workshop table was covered with parts from both human and alien machines. "Are you making any progress?" asked Kelly Martinez as she entered the workshop. The colony's chief biologist had been working closely with Jack since their return from the council meeting. "Some," Jack replied, holding up a small silver device. "This Ilari power source is amazing. It produces 10 times the energy of our best batteries, and it lasts for decades." Kelly looked impressed. "Can we use it for the colony's power grid?" "Not yet," Jack said. "I need to understand how it works first, but I think I can combine it with our engine designs to create something new." He pointed to a rough sketch on his tablet. The drawing showed an engine unlike any the colony had built before. "If this works, our ships could travel 5 times faster than our current models. We could explore further, maybe even find other human colonies if any survived." Kelly nodded, then placed a small container on the table. Inside was a sample of dark red soil. "I've been studying the plague that drove us from Earth," she said. "The Vorlani gave me access to their historical medical database. Something doesn't add up." Jack looked up from his work. "What do you mean?" "The plague spread too quickly and was too deadly. The infection pattern wasn't natural." Kelly's voice was serious. "I think someone created it specifically to target humans." Jack put down his tools. "Are you saying the plague was a weapon? Who would do that?" "I don't know yet, but the Vorlani records mention an ancient species called the progenitors. They disappeared from the galaxy around the same time as the plague appeared on Earth." "Why would they want to wipe out humans?" Jack asked. Kelly touched her tablet, bringing up an image of Earth from 300 years ago. "According to the records, the progenitors believed humans were developing too quickly. We went from basic flight to space travel in less than a century. Most species take 500 years to make that jump." Jack considered this as he returned to his work. The idea that an alien species had tried to wipe out humanity was disturbing. If true, it meant their ancestors hadn't just fled a natural disaster. They had escaped an attempted genocide. The door to the workshop slid open again. Frank Miller, now much older and serving as an advisor to the colony leadership, entered with a group of alien visitors. The aliens had blue skin and 4 arms each. "Jack, Kelly, these are our new allies from the Zorlet Federation." Frank introduced them. "They've offered to help us upgrade our technology." One of the aliens stepped forward. "We bring gifts of knowledge. Your species shows great potential. The Hive Collective grows stronger each cycle, and they fear your return. We need strong allies." Jack shook hands with the alien, careful to use the correct greeting he had been taught. "We're grateful for your help. We have a lot to learn about the galaxy." "And much to teach," the alien replied. "Many believe humans gone forever. Your survival brings hope to smaller species who live in fear of the Hive." As they began to discuss technological exchanges, Kelly returned to her lab to continue her research. The mystery of the plague needed solving. If someone had tried to wipe out humanity once, they might try again now that humans had returned to the galactic stage. Jack looked at his engine plans. With alien help, Humanity could leap forward centuries in development, but they would need to be careful. Not everyone in the galaxy was happy about humanity's return from extinction. Natalie Rodriguez sat in a quiet corner of the Galactic Council library. For 3 weeks, she had been studying council records, trying to learn more about humanity's place in the galaxy. Next to her sat Paul Davis, the colony's security chief who had accompanied her on this mission. "Find anything interesting?" Paul asked, keeping his voice low. The library was filled with aliens from various species, many giving curious looks to the two humans. "Too much," Natalie replied, sliding her tablet toward him. "Look at these access records. Several species have been studying Earth's location for decades, long before our official discovery." Paul frowned as he reviewed the data. "They knew we were out there, before the Vorlani found us." "It looks that way," Natalie said. "And there's more. I found references to a closed council session from 50 years ago. Something called the human question was discussed." Paul looked around cautiously before leaning closer. "How is that possible?" "They all acted surprised when we showed up at the council. I think some of them were surprised, but not all." Natalie pointed to another document on her tablet. "This shipping manifest shows a Hive Collective scout ship visiting a system near New Dawn 2 years ago. They never reported finding us." Paul's face hardened. "They've been watching us. Maybe waiting until we were worth attacking. Or keeping us hidden for some other reason," Natalie suggested. "We need to find out what was in that closed session record." Later that day, they met with Vexilor in a private room at the diplomatic quarters. The Vorlani had become their most trusted ally in council space. "What you ask is difficult," Vexilor said after hearing their request. "Closed session records sealed for 100 years. Very serious to break such rules." "This is about the survival of our species," Paul argued. "If the Hive Collective or others have plans against us, we need to know." Vexilor's vertical eyelids blinked slowly. "I have friend in records department. Perhaps possible, but dangerous." 2 days later, Vexilor brought them a small data crystal. His silver skin seemed paler than usual, and his hands trembled slightly. "What I found very disturbing," he said, "not just about humans, about Council itself." They gathered around as Natalie inserted the crystal into her tablet. The screen filled with text and images from the closed Council session. As they read, their faces grew pale. "This can't be right," Paul whispered. "They knew our navigation system was sabotage. They knew we were out there all along." The records showed that several elder races had detected the human colony ships shortly after they went off course. Instead of helping, they had decided to keep the human colony isolated and hidden from the rest of the galaxy. "They feared our potential," Natalie said, her voice shaking with anger. "According to this, they believe humanity would eventually challenge the power structure of the Council if we were allowed to develop normally." Vexilor pointed to another section of the document. "Worse here, some believe progenitors not responsible for Earth plague. Evidence suggests Hive Collective created disease with elder races' knowledge." Paul slammed his fist on the table. "They tried to wipe us out, and when some of us escaped, they made sure we'd stay lost. We need to tell New Dawn immediately." "We must be careful," Vexilor warned. "Hive Collective has spies everywhere. They not know you have this information." Natalie stared at the document, her mind racing. "We need proof that would stand up in a full council hearing. This alone isn't enough." "There is more," Vexilor said. "Records mention sample of original plague virus stored in secure facility. Scientific evidence." "Where?" Paul asked. "Research station orbiting Earth," Vexilor replied. "They'd monitor planet. Make sure no human life recovers." Natalie and Paul exchanged determined looks. What had begun as a diplomatic mission had now become something much more dangerous. They needed to return to New Dawn with this information, but they also needed to find solid proof of the conspiracy against humanity. "We'll need a ship," Paul said, "and a way to reach Earth without the Council knowing. And allies we can trust," Natalie added, nodding gratefully to Vexilor. The truth needs to come out, not just for humans, but for all species in the galaxy. The ship approached Earth slowly, its engines running in stealth mode. Commander Eric Miller stood on the bridge, staring at the blue planet below. As the son of Captain Frank Miller, Eric had grown up hearing stories about Earth, the original home of humanity. Now he was seeing it with his own eyes. "It's beautiful," whispered Lucy Watson, the mission's science officer, just like in the old pictures. The expedition to Earth had been organized quickly after Natalie and Paul returned to New Dawn with news of the conspiracy. The colony had decided to send a small team to investigate the research station and look for proof of the Council's deception. The team included humans from New Dawn and alien allies who believed in their cause. "Any sign of the research station?" Eric asked, turning to Vexilor, who operated the ship's advanced sensors. "Yes, hidden on dark side of your moon," the Vorlani replied. "Heavy shielding. Minimal crew detected." "And the planet's surface?" Lucy asked. "Any signs of the plague?" "Readings show healthy ecosystem," Vexilor said. "Forests recovered. Oceans clean. Air quality good." Eric nodded, feeling a mix of relief and lingering sadness. Earth had healed without humans. Nature had reclaimed the cities and farmlands their ancestors had abandoned. "Wait," Vexilor suddenly said, his silver skin rippling with excitement. "Detecting heat signatures. Many small settlements. Primitive technology level." "Settlements." Eric moved closer to the screen. "You mean animals, right?" "No," Vexilor answered. "Pattern matches intelligent species. Buildings. Agriculture. Roads." Lucy gasped. "That's impossible. The plague killed everyone who didn't escape on the colony ships." "Scan them," Eric ordered. "Are they human?" Vexilor worked quickly, his 4 hands moving across the controls. After a moment, he looked up, his vertical eyelids blinking rapidly. "Human DNA pattern confirmed. Approximately 500,000 individuals, scattered in small groups across planet." The bridge fell silent as everyone processed this impossible news. Humans had survived on Earth. For 300 years, while the galaxy believed humanity extinct, people had continued to live on their home planet. "We need to make contact," Eric decided. "Lucy, prepare a landing team. No weapons. We don't want to frighten them." Hours later, Eric stood with Lucy and 2 alien allies in a grassy field. They had landed near a settlement built along a river. The buildings were simple structures made of wood and stone, nothing like the advanced technology of New Dawn or the galactic community. A group of Earth humans approached cautiously. They wore clothes made of animal skins and woven plant fibers. Some carried spears, but they held them defensively, not threateningly. One woman stepped forward from the group. She had dark skin and wore elaborate decorations made from feathers and beads. A symbol was painted on her forehead. "I am Maria Collins, Chief of River People," she said in simple but clear English. "You come from stars." Eric was surprised they still spoke English after so many generations. "Yes, my name is Eric Miller. We are humans like you, but our ancestors left Earth long ago." Maria nodded as if she had expected this answer. "Old stories say star people would return one day. Stories say plague could not kill all humans. Some had special blood. They lived while others died." "You're immune to the plague?" Lucy asked, excitement in her voice. "That's incredible. We thought everyone on Earth had died." "Not all died. Strong ones lived, built new ways, smaller than before, better with Earth." Maria gestured to the sky. "But watchers came. They look from above, never speak to us, sometimes take people who never return." Eric and Lucy exchanged concerned looks. The research station had been studying Earth humans, perhaps experimenting on them. "These watchers," Eric said carefully, "do they come in flying vessels? Do they have different colored skin, not like ours?" Maria nodded. "They come in silver birds, skin like strange metal. She pointed at Vexilor. Not like your friend. Different ones. The Hive Collective. Vexilor whispered to Eric. They run the research station. Maria stepped closer to Eric. You are the star people from old stories. You returned to help us fight Watchers. Eric looked at the simple village, then up at the sky where Earth's moon hung faintly visible in the daylight. The research station was up there, containing proof of the conspiracy against humanity. And down here were cousins of humanity who had survived against all odds. Yes, Eric said firmly. We've come to help, and to bring truth to the galaxy. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was more crowded than ever before. Representatives from every known species had gathered for what many called the most important meeting in centuries. Armed guards from neutral species stood at every entrance, ensuring security. In the center of the hall stood Governor Alan Hughes and Chief Maria Collins. They represented the two branches of humanity, those who had fled to the stars and those who had survived on Earth. Behind them stood Eric Miller, Natalie Rodriguez, Paul Davis, and other key figures from New Dawn. This emergency session will now begin, announced the council leader, a tall reptilian being who had replaced the previous leader following the scandal. Alan stepped forward, his voice steady and strong. Honorable members of the council, 3 months ago, we discovered that humans still live on Earth. We also uncovered evidence of a terrible crime against our species. He gestured to a holographic display that appeared above them. It showed scientific data and historical records recovered from the research station on Earth's moon. This evidence proves that the plague that nearly destroyed humanity was not natural. It was engineered by a group of species who feared our potential. While most of the council was unaware, certain elder races and the Hive Collective worked together to eliminate us. Angry shouts and denials erupted from some sections of the hall. The representatives of the Hive Collective buzzed their wings in fury. These are lies. The Hive representative shouted. Humans seek to divide the council with false accusations. Paul Davis stepped forward, activating another display. We recovered these samples and data files from your own research station. Your scientists kept detailed records of the plague's creation and testing. They were quite proud of their work. Several council members looked horrified as they viewed the evidence. The leader of the Ilari delegation stood. We had no knowledge of this crime, they said, their feathered arms spread wide. Many of us mourned humanity's supposed extinction. We would never have supported such an action. Maria Collins stepped forward now. The Earthwoman looked small among the alien delegates, but her voice was clear and confident. My people survived because some of us had natural immunity to the plague. For generations, we rebuilt while keeping the old stories alive. We knew the star people would return one day. The hall fell silent as aliens studied this human who represented a different path of evolution. Maria's people had developed unique adaptations to Earth's changed environment, including heightened senses and natural resistance to disease. Humanity stands before you not as one, but as two branches of the same tree, Alan continued. We do not seek revenge for past crimes. We seek justice and a new beginning. After hours of debate, the council reached its decision. The Hive Collective representatives were arrested for their continued experiments on Earth humans. Several elder races admitted their involvement and agreed to pay reparations. Most importantly, humanity, both branches, was granted full membership in the council. 1 year later, a space station named Unity orbited Earth. It served as a meeting point between colony humans and Earth humans, and as humanity's new embassy to the galaxy. On the observation deck, Sam Foster, a young engineer born on Earth, worked alongside Rebecca Clark, a scientist from New Dawn. Your people built amazing things among the stars, Sam said as they examined plans for a new type of ship. But we learned to understand Earth in ways your ancestors never did. Rebecca nodded. Together, we can do even more. Your natural medicines combined with our technology could help many species across the galaxy. From the window, they could see Earth below. Small lights marked the growing settlements where Earth humans lived. Nearby, ships from New Dawn brought teachers, doctors, and supplies to help their long-lost cousins advance without losing their unique culture. In another part of the station, Sixtoral, the xenorchaeologist who had once declared humanity extinct, carefully updated the official galactic records. Where once he had written humanity's obituary, he now recorded the beginning of their new chapter. The final line of his report read simply, "Humanity. Status. Thriving."